The stars around Black Ridge Station were cold and quiet. The dying star nearby gave off a dull red glow, casting long shadows across the steel walls of the hidden base. Black Ridge wasn't marked on any galactic map. It was buried in a dead sector, forgotten by most, but it was far from empty. Commander Walker stood alone in the main control room, his hands behind his back. The monitors in front of him blinked with incoming alerts, strange signals, faint disturbances, ships disappearing near the outer rim. He didn't speak. He just stared. Behind him the AI interface flickered to life. "Walker," a calm female voice said. "5 Craveri scout ships have entered restricted airspace." Walker didn't turn around. His voice was quiet but firm. "Do they know where they are?" "Unlikely. But they're moving with purpose." Walker nodded slowly. "Then they're not scouts. They're bait." The AI paused. "Should I notify High Command?" He shook his head. "No, not yet. Let's see what they do." The Craveri were one of the galaxy's oldest warrior species. Brutal, proud, dangerous. They had conquered entire systems in their rise to power. But until now, they had left Earth alone. Not out of respect, but because they thought humans weren't worth the trouble. For a long time, Earth had helped that image stay alive. Humanity had chosen silence, caution. It buried its most powerful technologies. It hid its true strength behind treaties, trade, and diplomacy. But Walker knew better. He was one of the few who had seen what Earth was truly capable of, and he knew it couldn't stay hidden forever. The control room lights dimmed slightly. Another alert came through. This time it was urgent. "They've crossed into Zone 0, the AI said. "Black Ridge is now in visual range of Craveri sensors." Walker took a deep breath. He tapped a single button on the console. "Send out the ghost ping," he said. "Full silent protocol. No lights, no signals. We disappear." The base lights flickered. In less than a second, Black Ridge went dark, its systems now hidden behind layers of stealth tech, decades ahead of anything the Craveri had seen. Walker stepped away from the console and looked out the viewing window. In the distance he could just make out the faint glow of the enemy ships. "They're testing us," he said softly. "But they won't like what they find." Suddenly, his earpiece buzzed. "Commander Walker," came a voice from the communication line. It was General David from Earth High Command. "We've received reports of the Craveri destroying one of our outposts on Epsilon 7. There were no survivors." Walker's jaw tightened. "That was a research colony," he replied. "Unarmed, no threat." "Exactly," David said. "This wasn't an accident. They're baiting us." Walker looked back at the screens. "Then it's time we start preparing." David hesitated. "You're not thinking about activating it, are you?" Walker didn't answer right away. Then he turned toward the AI panel. "Ambassador," he said, "begin deep system scan. Check all buried protocols. I want full access ready." "Understood, Commander," the AI replied. There was silence on the line. "Walker," David said quietly, "you know what happens if we do this?" "Yes," Walker answered. "They'll finally see what Earth really is." He ended the call. In the corner of the room, a small red light blinked. It was connected to an old system, older than Walker himself, the Genesis core, still locked, still sleeping. Walker stared at it for a long time. Then, without another word, he left the control room and walked down the dim hall toward the lower levels. His boots echoed against the floor. Every step he took was heavy with the weight of what he knew was coming. Humanity had stayed silent for too long, and now the galaxy would learn the truth. The Galactic Senate was in session. High above the glowing surface of Talvaris, the most neutral moon in the known galaxy, ambassadors from hundreds of alien species filled the vast chamber. Lights shimmered across domed ceilings. Voices echoed in dozens of languages. In the center, a Craveri warrior stood tall, his armor black and gold. General Staler. He addressed the entire Senate with cold confidence. "The human colonies are vulnerable," he declared. "They occupy space they do not deserve. Their technology is outdated. Their strength is a lie. Many nodded. Others murmured in doubt. Staler continued. We did not attack Epsilon 7. It was a defensive strike. The humans were conducting experiments too close to Dominion space. Earth's ambassador William stood to respond. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. That was a peaceful research station. It had no weapons, and it was nowhere near Dominion territory. Staler smirked. Perhaps Earth should better mark its borders, or perhaps they should stay within them. The Senate fell into silence. From his seat, William tapped a small device under his robe. A short message was sent across light years to Black Ridge Station. Back on Black Ridge, Commander Walker stood in the center of a darkened war room. Around him were 5 figures. Earth's top covert officers, men and women trained to operate outside the law. In the shadows, they were known as Project Phantom. They're testing us, Walker said, placing his hands on the table. And we've played weak long enough. John, a quiet, sharp-eyed operative, leaned forward. So what now? Do we strike back? Not officially, Walker replied. Not yet. But we send a message. He turned to Staler's star map. A small Kravari listening post near Sector K9 blinked red. That outpost controls their deep space signals. Disable it. Leave no trace. I want them blind. David, another Phantom agent, smirked. Finally. Hours later, in the cold dark near Sector K9, a small stealth ship slipped past Kravari defenses. It moved like a shadow, silent and invisible. Inside, John and David prepped their tools. They didn't use lasers or missiles. They used pulse cutters and virus drones. Precision over power. The human way. In under 10 minutes, the Kravari outpost went dark. Not destroyed. Just gone. Powerless. Blind. The Kravari didn't even know they'd been hit. Back in Kravari space, General Staler watched his command screens flicker. His technicians scrambled. Signals failed. Reports vanished. He frowned. What is this? Unclear, sir. One of his aides said. It could be natural interference. Staler shook his head. No, this is surgical. Someone did this. He narrowed his eyes. It's the humans. At Black Ridge, Walker stood alone in a secure chamber. Before him stood a black pillar. It pulsed softly. Inside it, the ancient AI core ambassador hummed in silence. Walker reached out and placed his hand on the surface. It's time to wake up. The pillar lit up. A voice echoed, smooth and controlled. Commander Walker. Genesis protocols detected. Clearance confirmed. I need your eyes, he said. Every Kravari ship. Every Dominion whisper. I want to know what they know, and I want to know what they fear. The AI paused. And if they learn about me, they already suspect, Walker said. Now, let's give them a reason to panic. At Earth High Command, William received a secure message from Walker. He opened it. It read only one sentence. The lion has moved. William closed the file. Around him the other diplomats were still trying to explain, apologize, and defend Earth's innocence. But he knew the truth. There would be no more hiding. The fire had been lit. The Kravari outpost in Sector K9 remained silent. No signals. No answers. No distress calls. Across the Kravari Dominion, worry started to spread. Commanders reported strange losses, ships disappearing, patrols going silent, bases losing power for minutes at a time, but no one could trace the source. The Kravari High Council met in secret. General Staler stood before them, his voice sharp and full of anger. This is no coincidence, he said. This is human interference. One counselor shook his head. Humans don't have this kind of reach. Then explain how 5 outposts went dark in 2 days. Staler snapped. The room fell quiet. Staler stepped forward. We underestimated them. We thought they were soft. We thought they were weak. We were wrong. Back at Black Ridge Station, Walker reviewed the AI scans. The map of the galaxy in front of him was filled with data. Every Kravari movement, every troop shift, every silent alarm. Ambassador, now fully active, spoke calmly through the console. Enemy networks are stretched thin. Their fleet is repositioning around Talveris. They're preparing for a full invasion. Walker nodded. Then we hit them where it hurts. In the war room, the rest of the Phantom team gathered. John, David, and 2 others. James and Staler, not to be confused with the enemy general, stood around the table. We have confirmation, Walker said. The Creveri are sending a fleet toward Mars Relay Station. They want to cut off our outer colonies. John raised an eyebrow. We letting them? No, Walker replied. We're going to bleed them. That night, in the shadows of space near the Mars road, Phantom ships moved, silent, invisible. They didn't use bright weapons or leave explosions behind. They used jammers, trap drones, and signal disruptors. Creveri ships vanished from radar, cut off from each other. In less than an hour, an entire Creveri scout fleet lost all contact. They never made it to Mars, and no one found their wreckage. General Staler received the news while aboard his flagship Karnak's Wrath. His jaw clenched as his officers struggled to explain. They didn't fire on us. There are no signs of attack. Then where are they? Staler asked coldly. No one answered. He turned to his second-in-command. Send a warning to the Galactic Senate. Tell them Earth has violated neutrality. The officer hesitated. Sir, there's no proof. Staler grabbed him by the collar. Find me proof then, or I'll take it myself. On Earth, William met secretly with the president of the Terran Union. Walker's making moves, William said. He's careful, but he's not hiding anymore. The president folded his hands. Is it time? William paused. Almost. Let the galaxy tremble a little more. Back at Black Ridge, Walker stood in a silent chamber. Before him, a giant black warship hovered behind a sealed window. It looked like a shark made of metal. Sharp edges, sleek armor, and pulsing energy beneath the surface. Ravenborn. The ship had never seen battle. It was Earth's most advanced weapon, controlled only by Ambassador and a human pilot. Walker placed his hand on the access panel. Prepare for launch. Coordinates, Ambassador asked. Talveris, Walker said. It's time they saw us. Across the stars, Creveri generals were already preparing their next attack. But they didn't know something had changed. They didn't know humanity was already inside their systems, watching them, waiting. They didn't know that the ghosts in the stars had names. Names like Walker, John, David, and James. And they were done hiding. The moon Talveris glowed beneath the Galactic Senate citadel. Thousands of alien ships hovered in orbit, each belonging to different species. It was supposed to be a place of peace, a neutral zone, but today it was on edge. The Creveri fleet had arrived in full force. Dozens of their warships, sharp, dark, and armored, stood ready. At the center of it all floated Karnak's Wrath, the flagship of General Staler. Inside, Staler looked over his maps. His patience was gone. Enough waiting, he said. Earth defies us, hides behind lies, and sends shadows to attack. We end this now. His officers nodded, though some looked uneasy. Launch the message, Staler ordered. Publicly, across the stars, a live broadcast began. Staler appeared on every major channel in the galaxy. To the people of the Galactic Senate and all civilized worlds, he said, voice cold and steady. Humanity has betrayed your trust. They attacked without cause. They have chosen war. And now they will face the consequences. Deep in space, Walker sat inside the command chair of the warship Ravenborn. His face was calm. His hands rested on the control panel. Around him, the ship pulsed with soft blue light. The walls didn't feel like metal. They felt alive. Ambassador spoke. Broadcast from General Staler detected. Do you wish to respond? Walker didn't answer right away. He stared at the star map, zooming in on Talveris. Approach in stealth. Uncloak. When I say. Understood. Ravenborn moved silently, a ghost slipping between shadows. No radar saw it. No warning appeared. Not until it was already above Talvaris. Then Walker gave the command. Uncloak. Full system glow. In an instant the ship shimmered into view, massive, sleek, and black as space. Its sides lit up with glowing lines, symbols older than most alien languages. The galaxy saw it, and gasped. On board Karnak's Wrath, Staler stared at the screen. What is that? His officer's voice trembled. A human ship, but it doesn't match any known class. Target it. Now, the Crovery fleet turned. Dozens of weapons locked on Ravenborn. But before they could fire, the human ship pulsed. A wave of energy spread in all directions. It wasn't a weapon. It was a warning. Crovery systems went dark for seconds. Their engines flickered. Their shields glitched. Then Walker's face appeared on every screen. He spoke just 2 words. You asked, and Ravenborn responded. From its underbelly sleek black drones poured out, silent, fast, and controlled by Embasser. They didn't destroy the Crovery ships. They disabled them. One by one, engines shut down, turrets locked in place, and communications were blocked. The Crovery panicked. They're inside our systems. An officer yelled. Fire at will. Staler roared, but nothing responded. Their weapons were dead. Inside Ravenborn, Walker watched without emotion. They needed to see, he said. They needed to understand. Ambassador's voice was calm. Would you like to finish them? Walker paused. No, not yet. Instead he sent out a final message. Not just to the Crovery, but to every ship, every world, every government in the galaxy. For years we stayed quiet. We watched. We hoped for peace. You saw our silence as weakness. That was your mistake. We are not what you think. This is only a glimpse of our strength. Let this be your warning. The message ended. The Ravenborn cloaked again. And just like that, it was gone. On Karnak's Wrath, Staler sat frozen. His fleet was blind. His power, broken. His pride, shattered. Around him, officers whispered. They no longer looked at him with respect, but with fear. He clenched his fists. They will pay for this, he hissed. I swear it. But even he didn't believe it anymore. In the quiet after, the galaxy didn't speak, because now, they knew the truth. The humans were not weak. They were the sleeping lion. And now, the lion was awake. The Crovery fleet drifted helplessly in space. Their ships, once feared across the galaxy, now floated silently near Talvaris. Lights flickered. Systems rebooted slowly. The damage wasn't physical. It was worse. Their pride had been torn apart. Their trust in their own strength shattered. Inside Karnak's Wrath, General Staler stood alone on the bridge. Most of his officers were gone. Some had abandoned their posts. Others sat in silence, unsure of what to do. None of them looked at him directly. The defeat was too heavy. Staler's eyes were locked on a dark screen. How did this happen? He muttered. He had spent his life believing in Crovery's strength, in domination, in war. But now one human ship had disabled his entire fleet without firing a single deadly shot. His thoughts were interrupted by an alert. A single ship was approaching, uncloaked, directed, no weapons armed. The Ravenborn, on board. Commander Walker stood at the front window. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Beside him, Ambassador spoke softly. They are not resisting. Their weapons remain offline. They've already lost, Walker said. Do you wish to finish this? Walker didn't answer immediately. He thought of the research base on Epsilon 7, the scientists, the children, burned alive in the first Crovery strike. He remembered the reports. The screams. Part of him wanted revenge. But he knew what that would make him. No, he said. Open a channel. I want to speak to him directly. On Karnak's Wrath, Staler's screen lit up. Walker appeared. No music, no dramatic entrance, just his voice. This is Commander Walker of the Human Defense Force. Your fleet is disabled. Your systems are exposed. You are not in control anymore. Staler didn't respond. He stared, jaw clenched. You attacked our people, Walker continued. You believed we were weak, that we would bow or break. But now you know who we are. Staler finally spoke. You think this is over? Walker narrowed his eyes. No, but it could have been. He paused. Then with a quiet voice. I didn't come to kill you. I came to show you what we've chosen not to use. The screen changed. Staler saw something terrifying. Earth's archives. War logs. Images of weapons beyond imagination. Ships that could bend time. AI systems that had been locked away for centuries. And then, the Genesis Protocol. A last resort weapon designed to wipe out entire solar systems in minutes. Staler went pale. You had this all along. Yes, Walker said. And we chose not to use it. Staler looked away, ashamed. Why show me this? Walker looked him in the eye. So you remember it the next time you think about testing us. He ended the call. Back on the Ravenborn, Walker exhaled slowly. Message delivered. Ambassador said. What now? Let them go, Walker said. Let the galaxy see who we are, not just in strength, but in mercy. Ambassador's lights dimmed in agreement. Understood. The Kraveri ships powered back on. Engines restarted. Lights returned. Walker didn't chase them. He didn't strike. He simply turned and left. In the Galactic Senate, silence filled the halls. Species who once laughed at humans now whispered in awe. The broadcast had reached every corner of the galaxy. Everyone had seen what Earth could do, and what it chose not to do. William, Earth's ambassador, stood in front of the council. We do not seek to rule, he said. We seek respect. We seek peace. But if you bring war to our doorstep again, he paused, you will not like what answers. No one said a word. In his private chamber aboard the Ravenborn, Walker sat alone. He looked out at the stars, thinking of the cost of restraint. The people lost. The families broken. The strength they had hidden for so long. He didn't regret showing it, but he hoped he would never have to use it again. The stars above Earth looked the same, but the galaxy was different now. News of the Kraveri defeat spread like fire. Every major planet, colony and space station replayed the footage of the Ravenborn disabling an entire fleet. People across worlds watched in silence, as Earth's hidden power was revealed for the first time. They saw the calm voice of Commander Walker, the precision of Ambassador, and the terrifying glimpse of the Genesis Protocol, a weapon so powerful it had never been used. Some were afraid. Some were in awe, but no one laughed at humans anymore. In the Galactic Senate, a new meeting was held. This time there was no shouting, no mocking, no threats. The Senate hall was quiet as Ambassador William took the central floor. He stood tall, wearing a simple gray suit, and spoke with steady words. Earth has no desire to conquer, he said. We never did, but we will not be underestimated again. The alien leaders nodded. Even those who once dismissed humanity remained silent. Then the vote began. And with a unanimous decision, Earth was granted a permanent seat on the High Council of the Galactic Senate. For the first time in history, humans held a position of equal power among the galaxy's great civilizations, not because of war, but because they showed they didn't need to fight to win. Far from the Senate, on the edge of known space, the Ravenborn drifted in silence. Inside, Walker stood at the main window, looking out into the black sea of stars. He had refused the council seat. He didn't want medals or politics. He wanted peace, and he trusted that Earth's leaders would hold the line so long as the galaxy respected it. Ambassador spoke softly behind him. Kraveri forces have retreated to their home sector. Their fleets are in disarray. Other empires are reducing military patrols. Good, Walker said. Let things settle. And what of us? The AI asked. What happens now? Walker was quiet for a moment. Then he answered, we watch. He turned from the window and walked toward the center chamber, where the Genesis Protocol remained locked behind thick glass. The system was powered down, its glow faint and harmless. Walker placed his hand on the panel. Seal it, permanently? Ambassador asked. Yes. The chamber hissed as heavy doors closed around the ancient weapon. The choice was made. Back on Earth, people celebrated not with fireworks, but with quiet pride. For years they had lived in the shadow of other species. Now they walked among them as equals. Children learned of the phantom teams who defended them without glory. Families lit candles for the lives lost at Epsilon 7. And somewhere in the mountains, a memorial stone was placed with no name, just a message. The lion woke not to conquer, but to be left in peace. In the far reaches of space, among drifting comets and silent stars, the Ravenborn continued its patrol. Walker sat in his chair, alone but content. The galaxy had changed, but Earth had stayed true to itself.